echo. Sorry, my bad. Let me turn that all the way down. Yep. Still getting an echo. All right. Give me 1 second. Mhm. Let's see. Nope. Still got an echo. I'm so sorry, you guys. Hello. Give me a second. Let's see. Does that work? Nope. All right. Oh my. All right. So sorry about the echo, you guys. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to work on my second camera while I say hello to everybody. Usually I don't get an echo. That's really, really strange. So I've done this a lot. So I apologize for that. But hello, welcome to Saturdays with Steph. Sorry for the little delay there. Today we're going to work on the really cute pattern from Art East Quilting called There She Blows. It's a free pattern from Art East. And I'm going to attempt to reconnect my phone. So I have a second camera for you guys. And hopefully this time it won't get crazy with the echo. But in the meantime, I'd like to say hello to everybody. Carl and Kelly, Tamala, welcome. It's good to see all of you. Hi, Shelly. Good to see you. And Charlotte, Cindy. And let's see who else is here. Jeannie and, oh, Russ. Hi, Russ. Good to see you. Hi, Karen and Sally and Janet and Delmarie. Hello, everybody. Great to see you. All right, let's see if I can get this second camera reconnected so you can actually see what I'm doing, because it would be helpful with Art East to be able to see. All right. Well. All right. Well, I'm just gonna have to lift up everything. I apologize for that. For some reason, there was some updates with Zoom, so I'm wondering if it's got something screwed up there. Usually I am able to run two cameras and show you kind of what I'm sewing as well. So I'm just going to pick up everything, which is kind of a pain, but we'll deal with it. Hi, Coleen. Good to see you. Let's see, you're going on TV. Excited about your pet. Hi, Jean. Good to see you. And I'm not sure if I said hi to Janet and Sally. Hi there. I think I might have, but I'm not positive. So welcome to Saturdays with Steph. Again, sorry for the delay. Little technical issue, and I don't know how to solve it right now, so I apologize for that. But I'm really excited to sew up this pattern today. It's a free pattern from Art East Quilting. It's a great way to try out Art East's pattern. I know that I've made a bunch of Art East patterns, and a lot of people have asked me about them. They are not difficult on the sewing part, I don't think. They're difficult from the, not difficult, I shouldn't say, but just a little trickier from the cutting standpoint. But once you have everything cut, I promise you, this sews up really quickly. So, Charlotte says, I'm using fabric I want on your 1K celebration for my whale. Awesome. So let's see. After you get it all cut, it sews up pretty quickly. So we're going to do that today. Really wish I could get this camera to work. Every time I turn it on, it seems to want to, you know, cause interference with the other speaker or the other microphone. So I apologize for that. And so unfortunately, I'm not going to have that one. I'm not sure how to fix it live. So we're just going to go ahead and sew, and I'll just show you the pieces. This is a free pattern, so I'll go ahead and talk about the different pieces that we're using. Hi, Sue. Hi, Stephen. Happy birthday. Hi, Pamela. Welcome. So Stephen, my good friend Stephen of the Idiot Quilter, he had a sew day today, and for his birthday celebration, his birthday is actually tomorrow. So thank you for that, Stephen. I popped in this morning and then I wasn't feeling so good. So just my arm, nothing, no big deal. I'm fine. But I knocked out for a while and then I came back on this afternoon and it looked like he had a pretty good crowd. So that's really awesome. I'm so happy that everybody was over there supporting him for his birthday. And I see a lot of names that were over there. So thank you all for coming over here. So the first thing we're going to do today is we are going to start with the whale's head, which if you have this pattern that is on page 9, I'm not going to go through the cutting instructions. Again, I couldn't get that second camera to work. I apologize for that. So I'm going to have to sort of show you guys this, pick up the pieces and then sew it, which is not ideal. I was hoping to actually show you or have you guys watch what I was sewing. So I'm a little disappointed by that, but that's okay. We'll make it work. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab the eyeball. So piece A right here, the little black square, that will be the easiest piece to start with. And piece B, which is the exact same size, whatever your whale head is made out of. And we're just going to sew those together like a 2-patch. Really easy. Now make sure your iron is on and hot. You're going to need to iron this. Ironing is the key to our ease patterns because there's a lot of pieces. As long as you iron everything as you go, your block is going to come out really well. So, and before I get too far and forget, I wanted to say thank you to John of Art East Quilting for this free pattern. I made a whole quilt out of Ocean Life called Going Coastal. It's one of their patterns. And it's actually in a show right now. So I was gonna bring it and hang it up, but it had to go to the show before today. So anyway, this will be a nice accompaniment, a nice little pillow to go along with that quilt. So I'm really excited about this. Okay, so after you sewed, oh, that's hot. After you sew the A and the B piece together, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the C piece and we're going to attach it to the side of it right there. So it's actually going to be to your right side if you're looking at it. And hello, Joanne. Everybody's wishing Stephen happy birthday. Don't forget, Stephen is also going to be live tomorrow at 4 p.m. on his actual birthday for his normal live. And I hear he's got some surprise to share with us, like a gift that he got or something like that. So I'm excited to see what that is. So head on over to Stephen's channel, The Idiot Quilter, tomorrow at 4 p.m. to see what that is. Oh, thank you, Cynthia. I appreciate that. My arm is touch and go, to be honest with you guys. I was hoping it was more go by this week than not, but it's some days it's good and sometimes it's bad. I'll have like 2 or 3 good days and then I'll have a really, really bad day where it hurts. And so then I have to take medicine and it knocks me out. So yeah, I lost half a day today, which is no fun, really. It's no fun to lose half your life asleep. So, or over half your life because you're sleeping at nighttime and then you sleep during the day. So that's no fun. So thank you for all those folks who are saying, I hope your arm gets better for soon. I hope so too, just because I'm tired of not getting things done. I'm so used to getting so much done and I'm not getting a lot of things done right now. So it's very frustrating. Okay. Steven said, nothing normal about my live. That's true. They're actually so funny. So if you guys have never been over to Steven's channel, which I'm pretty sure all of you here have been, but if you haven't, I'm actually going to put a link for his channel in the chat. make sure you head over there and subscribe and look for his live tomorrow because so good. They're hilarious and I always leave laughing. So the next thing we're going to do is oops, can't see what I'm showing you. So I put the eye part together. So here's the eyeball and then this part of the whale. So the next piece I'm going to grab is strip D. So that's this long guy here. So I'm going to add this right next to the eye on the other side of the eyeball. Cynthia said, my rotator cuff in the right arm is split, so I know how you feel. Yes. I do not have it that bad as you, though. I have to say that. But yeah, I have some damage, but it's at this point, knock on wood, not requiring surgery. It's just taking longer to heal than I want it to, and I need to let it heal. So I'm not very good at being patient. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Alexandria. Hi, Kelly. Good to see you. I have to go and get dressed. 60th birthday party for a friend today. Ooh, fun. Lots of birthdays this weekend. You don't want to show up, dude, Kelly said. Stephen, no, that wouldn't be fun. Probably for her or anyone. Unless it's that kind of party. You never know. Maybe it's that kind of party. Oh, thank you, Catherine. I appreciate that. So I did manage to get, before my arm kind of had a bad morning today, I got a couple of the next Underground Railroad blocks in the Underground Railroad series done. So if you are sewing along with me, because I know a few of you are, those are up now if you haven't seen those yet. KT tape works wonders. So go ahead and check those out. And then I'm hoping this next week I can get another one up. So we'll see how that goes. Hey, Jan, how are you? All right, so this is the whale's eye in the beginning of his head. So the next piece we need to add is a strip right on top of him, the E strip. So we're going to do that next. He's going to go together so fast. I can just see it already. All right. We're just going to add that strip. So I made the whole Going Coastal quilt out of grunge. So I decided, of course, to go ahead and just make this little whale guy out of grunge as well. There is a whale on that quilt, and I use different colors. So I'll have two different color whales, which will be nice. Love the fabric you're using. Thank you. I had a whole stash of grunge because I had purchased, have you guys ever started a project and not been happy with it and stopped? So recently I did that, and I had started a mystery quilt, and I really don't like it. So I decided that it was all gonna all be out of grunge. And I decided, instead of keep going on a project that I don't like, that I would just salvage the fabric that I had left and stop working on that project and add the grunge to my grunge stash. So this is one of the fabrics from that project. So I sort of repurposed it. I felt really bad that I did not like this sew along, but it was just not my cup of tea. So oh gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Alexandria. She said she hasn't been able to do much since her car accident, getting ready to have surgery on Thursday. We'll be thinking about you, and I hope that it goes really well. Okay, so let me pull up my pattern. So this is the top of the whale's head so far. Now we're going to add an A square to the side opposite of the eye, and then we're going to add a B square the side by the eye, right on the top here. And so I need to grab a marking tool and draw a diagonal line corner to corner on the back of both of those squares. We're just going to snowball the corners, basically the top corners of the whale's head. Ruler, there we go. I am very unprepared right now. I'm going to blame it on the drugs. All right. All right. So drawn lines. So here is the whale's eye. So the smaller block is going to go up above his eye, and we're going to sew corner to corner here. So I'm going to do that first. And before I cut him off and press him, I'm going to go ahead and put the square on the other side. It's going to be exactly like this one on the top, just the larger square. Cindy said, I'm not usually a fan of grunge. However, your blue is perfect since the whales are full of scratches and scars. I agree. I was happy to see that you made 2 more Underground Railroad quilt videos. Thank you. I'm enjoying them. Oh, you're welcome. I'm enjoying them too. That is a fun quilt, and I'm really enjoying the process of learning, even if it's not real. We don't know. We don't know if it's myth or reality, but I'm enjoying the process of learning about all the blocks. So, yeah, I'm glad I did it. Okay. So this is what my whale looks like right now. So I'm going to trim both of these a 1/4 inch away from where I sewed, and then I'm going to press them out to make my whale head. And I know that Charlotte, who is here in the chat, she is making this. Is anybody else going to give this a try? Just curious. No, there's some of you out there that completely hate little pieces, and I understand and don't blame you. I just wondered if anybody else is going to give this pattern a try. Alrighty, let's see. Going to be cute, said Grindle. Carl said he's going to try it. Awesome. Russ said I have the fabric to make it. I just haven't had time to cut it. No worries. That's awesome. Glad you guys are going to make it. I'm glad you're going to try it. Okay, so here's my whale head so far. So we're going to put him aside now, and we're going to make the body of the whale. So let's put this guy somewhere. I don't want him to fall on the floor. So let's see. I know you don't like little pieces, Steven. That's okay. You guys don't have to like little pieces. You really don't. Okay, let's see. I need to find my fabric list. And grab my fabrics over here. Now, this one is where we get into a lot of little pieces. So the first thing I'm going to grab is piece N. So I'm using that white and the blue you guys saw, and then this other blue too. So I have two different colors of blue, this darker blue and this lighter blue. So I'm going to use some of this lighter blue now. And that's going to be piece N, which is a 2.5-inch square. And then, let's see, we need piece I, which is a 4-inch by 2.5-inch square. Okay. And then piece E, and E is a 1-inch square. This is where we're getting into the little bits. So, okay. Let me find my little piece. Let's see. Tamala said, I'm cutting my fabric after the live and we'll sew it up later. Awesome. And Charlotte said, sewing but not keeping up. Oh, Charlotte, you are a fast sewist. You will catch up to me while I find all these pieces. I should have kept them in order better. That is one thing I can recommend with Art East. If you're doing a whole quilt, make sure you mark everything really well. If you cut everything at the beginning, or you can cut block by block, because they're really good about organizing their patterns where you can cut it just a block at a time, or you can cut the whole quilt if you want to. But with all the pieces, it can get kind of confusing. So, all right, so I have my first three pieces, piece N, piece I, and piece E. So all these little pieces here. So the first thing we're going to do on this rectangle is we're going to add the square on the end, and we're going to sew corner to corner here. So do that. Hi, Sylvia. Welcome, welcome. And after you've sewn piece N on, you can sew piece E on the bottom, the opposite corner for where you sewed N, you're going to sew piece E. And if you want to, you can download the pattern. It's completely free. And that way you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm going to go ahead and put that link again in the chat. There we go. It should pop up the pattern for you guys. There you go. All right. I've sewn the blue block onto the dark blue, and then the little white block onto the dark blue. So now I'm going to trim these and press them. What do you use to mark your cuts if you're cutting all first? So depending on what you have at home, you could use Post-its. I have pins that have alphabets and numbers. So they have alphabet on one side and numbers on the other. You could use that. You could use a paper clip with a little slip of paper, whatever you have to mark your. You don't have to have something super fancy that's quilt related, because you guys know everything with the word quilt on it is expensive. I mean, it's nice to have those things if you have them. You know, you can get them, but you don't have to. You could just use a little piece of paper with a wonder clip or a safety pin, or maybe not a safety pin, but a paper clip. You could safety pin them if you wanted to, but you're gonna put some holes in your fabric. Okay, so that is what that piece looks like. Set that guy down and see what we're doing next here. All right, next we're gonna grab piece O and piece D, and O is one of the lighter blue ones. So this color, really pretty. I like that color. And then piece D is a background 1.5-inch square. Okay. So that's this guy here. And then we're just adding this square to the rectangle again, sewing corner to corner. A lot of that in this one. And with these little squares like this, I don't mark them with a, you can. I don't mark them with a marking tool. I just eyeball the corner to corner because the pieces are so small that you could just see where it needs to go. So Charlotte said, I found a printable alphabet with upper and lowercase letters and cut them out. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea, actually. So now that it's summertime, are any of you sewing less? Are you sewing more? If you're sewing more, what are you working on? Just curious. Okay. So this is that piece. That one's done. Let's see what the next piece is here. Okay, so now I need piece G and piece L. Piece L is another of the lighter blue. And let's see. Piece G is a 1.5-inch of the dark blue. So we've got these two pieces here. And again, we're just sewing it corner to corner on the end of the rectangle. Let's see. Sylvia said, okay, then how do you store your marked pieces till you use them? Sorry to be a pest. You're not being a pest. That's actually a really good question. So when I do Art East big, like their whole quilts, I'll store each block in a Ziploc bag and I have them marked in the bag. So I have them clipped usually with Wonder Clips or the pins with the letters in the Ziploc bags per block. So that's how you could do that very easily. That way they don't get all mixed up with the other blocks, because boy, that would be a nightmare. Because each block can have upper and lowercase letters because there's so many pieces per block. So if you got them all mixed up, my goodness, I'm not sure how you would, it would take a while to untangle all that. So yeah. And then I'll just reuse the Ziploc bags. Like I keep some in a drawer here and I reuse them. So let's see. Ellen said, to mark cut fabric, I will sometimes write on little pieces of binding with marker and pin it to the units. Oh, okay. That's a really good idea. I store them in a small plastic box, said Grindle. Salvage. Oh, Ellen, salvage. Okay, that makes more sense. Raining hard here. I'm finishing quilting a quilt, said Sylvia. Awesome. Okay, so this is that GL piece. I'm gonna set that guy aside. He's done. Now we're gonna grab piece J. And none of this means anything to you guys if you don't have the pattern, but if you have the pattern, you'll understand what I'm saying. Pattern's completely free, so go ahead and grab it. J is 4.5 by 2.5. It's got to be this guy here. Yep. And then I need 2 F squares, which are 1 1/4 inch squares. Okay. So this is my J piece. This is my F square. We're going to put them both right here. Again, sewing corner, corner. It's a recurring theme. All right. So what we're doing is we're making a whole bunch of little units, and we're going to sew all those units together to make the body of this whale. So that's a little bit kind of how our East patterns work. You sew a bunch of little things, and then all of a sudden you have a block because you've sewn all the little bits and pieces parts, and then all of a sudden you have some sort of animal, like when you start putting the pieces together. So it's kind of fun in a way. At first it seems overwhelming because you don't really see anything happening and you're going, okay, I'm making all these bits. But then all of a sudden, like when you get the animal, you're like, oh, all right. Okay. So I sewed that one and clipped it, and I'm just going to press it. So I'll have that piece done. Griddle said, I also use large flathead pins and use a permanent marker and write ABCs or 1, 2, 3s on them. Yeah. You could actually do that fairly inexpensively because you can get those kind of cheaper like flower head pins or whatever that are decorative when they're on sale at Joann's, and just write on that. That would work. So there's that piece. Now I'm going to grab piece J, which is a white piece, background piece. It's this guy here. He's one of our larger pieces. And then 2K pieces, which are the blue right there, 2.5-inch squares. And again, we're going to sew corner to corner. We're going to put them on the short edge, actually. So they're going to overlap a little bit. So we're going to put one on first, and then we're going to do the second one, kind of like a flying geese unit. Sylvia said, my dance card is full, or else I would grab the pattern. Well, you can always grab it and do it later. I understand that, though. I take on too many projects. But it keeps it interesting. Now, our East is not paying me to say this, I promise you, but I just really love their patterns. So if you like this and you are interested in their patterns, I do have a couple to give away tonight to you guys because John was very generous and sent me a couple patterns for free. And I realized that I already had them in my stash. So I'm going to share the extras with you guys. So if you hang on here for a little bit, I will pull the name of a winner for the first one. But also, they have a sew along that's starting in October. If you like Winnie the Pooh, it's going to be a block of the month, and I'm going to be doing it on my channel. But it's another good way to do an art East pattern because you're not kind of taking on the whole project all at once. You're doing it month by month. So makes the project not seem as overwhelming. You're like cutting up 1 month at a time then. So oops. That didn't smell right. Alrighty. Okay, there's that piece. It's looking like something. Just not sure what yet. Okay, so the next piece is a H piece. And I don't see where I put that piece. Let me look around here a little bit. Charlotte said, my laptop just went totally wacky, so I'm on my phone now. Oh no. That crazy stuff happens sometimes, right? Each. Oh, it would help if I looked at the right color. I was looking for a white piece that looked like this, and I don't have one. So that's H, and then we need M and C. And M is my other blue, which is going to go on the top here, and we're going to sew this on corner to corner. So I'm going to do that first while I'm looking for the C piece. Oh, and I just found C. And C is a 4-inch square. And that's going to go on the opposite corner, sewn on corner to corner. Love Winnie the Pooh, said Tamla. Sylvia said, Winnie the Pooh calls me. It's the quilt is going to be called 100 Acre Wood. It's all the Pooh characters, and I'm very excited for it. My second to youngest son, he is our little special needs kiddo, and he absolutely loves Winnie the Pooh, so that quilt is already earmarked for him, and I can't wait to make it. He is going to love it. And I'm going to really enjoy making it, knowing that it's going to make him so happy. So it locked up 2 times during Steven's Zoom. Your computer? Oh my goodness. Sally said that's so cute. Can't see right now, hoping later this week, but we'll think this will be a super cute quilt for a great nephew-in-law just born this month. They live in Florida. Awesome. That's a perfect quilt for Florida. Some ocean animals. Tamala said this block is calling to me to be a tote or a beach tote. Oh, that would be nice. Yeah. I just had decided to make it into a pillow because I already have the Going Coastal quilt. Here's that piece. Added the lighter blue here and the white down here. But if I didn't already have a quilt, I think a tote would be really cute. Perfect little beach bag with a little whale on the side. Except I would be afraid to put it down in the sand. I would be afraid somebody would take it because it's so cute. Although I guess if they needed it that badly, I would be okay with them taking it. But okay. So we've got that piece made. All these pieces here. All right. Let's see. All right, so the next step is kind of sewing some of these pieces together now. So I'm going to go ahead and sew these two pieces that we made together. I kind of wondered if they went together because they were sort of next to each other. We've got that one. And then it looks like we need to sew, let's see. This guy here needs to be sewn with a background rectangle. Just got to find the right one. That one's too big. Let's see, 6 inches. Okay. There we go. Found it. All right. So we're going to attach this to this. So that's G to the O and D piece. Marie said, I look forward to watching you sew the 100-Acre Woods quilt. I love Winnie the Pooh. Me too. Who's your favorite character? If you guys like Winnie the Pooh, which one's your favorite? Inquiring minds need to know. Eeyore is my favorite. He always has been. From the time I was a little girl, I loved Eeyore. Even though now as an adult, I think he was a little depressed. I still liked him. Okay, so that's that piece. And now I'm going to grab this piece, which was the N, I, and E, and we're going to join those together. Sally says Piglet. Karen says Eeyore. Cindy says Eeyore. I was just watching the original cartoon Winnie the Pooh with the kiddos the other day, and noticing all the different personalities of the characters, like how much anxiety Piglet has, and all the depression Eeyore has, and the ADHD Tigger has. So it's really kind of funny. Marie said Eeyore is my favorite. Hey Ingrid, good to see you. Tamla's favorite is Tigger. Awesome. Not a bad character in any of them, so lots of fun, no matter which one you pick. Sylvia said, I liked Owl too. Steven said, cute little piglet. It would be delicious on a barbecue. You would say that. Okay, so there's that piece. And we are going to put, oh, there's a piece in between. We're going to put these together, but there's a piece that goes in between first. So I got to find that piece. That is H, which should be this guy here. H, 9.5 by, yep, that's H. Okay, so 9.5 inch by 1.25 inch. Put that in between. Jan said Tigger is mine. Well, of course, you love kitties. That makes sense. Marie said, but I do love Piglet as well. Cindy said Tigger's bouncing got on my nerves. I think his bouncing got on the character's nerves too. I recall Rabbit wanting to lose him in the woods because she couldn't, or he couldn't. Was Rabbit a girl or a boy? Boy? Rabbit couldn't deal with Tigger's bouncing. Rabbit was a bit of a OCD control freak, so. And Ingrid said, "How are you feeling, Stephanie?" I am here. That is the word of the day. I'm here. But thank you for asking. Not great, not bad. I woke up today. I'm still on the planet, so we'll take that as a win. All right. Marie said, Tigger was my son's favorite. Designing J, which is Joanna, said, how about Winnie the Pooh? My son loved him when he was a little boy. Oh, yep. My son's favorite is Winnie the Pooh himself. I see a fin. I wasn't sure what this part of the wheel was until I sewed this last piece together. Now it's looking like a fin. So I'm getting somewhere here. So I said the Art East ones are tricky. You look at them and go, huh? And then you put it together and you go, oh, that's a whale. All right. So far we've got a fin, bottom fin here, or a tail there. Let's see what's next. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab this piece here that we made and this little piece that we made, and it looks like there's another piece that attaches to this one. Yep. Okay. So we're going to sew these two together. And after we sew these bits together, this is going to go on top of this. Okay, got this piece together. Now I'm going to sew this piece on top of this piece. And this is looking like part of the whale's body there. And again, I apologize if you just came in that I don't have another camera. Zoom was not playing nice. I had an update on Zoom on my phone and didn't want to let me do two cameras. So was getting all kind of feedback and I couldn't figure out how to fix it. So I will work on that for next time when we all get together to sew. So you can not only see what I'm doing, my water just fell down. Sorry guys if that was loud. You can not only see what I'm doing, but not hear a horrible echo. And then after I put these two together, I'm going to press that guy, and then we're going to grab piece I, which is a background piece, and attach it to the bottom of this piece. Okay, so this strip is going to go on the bottom here. Ooh, it looks like we're going to sew something together next. That's going to make this start looking like a whale. Okay, so I've got this piece, and then we've got this piece, and now we're going to join them together. Oh, I just made a mistake. So glad I saw that before I sewed it together. I sewed the white piece to the wrong part. I needed to sew it down here. Oops, I was like, this doesn't look right. I'm glad I caught it before I put the lock together. Yeah, happens. Bye, Carl. Great. Thanks for stopping by, and I can't wait to see you. I'll see you soon. So if you like this pattern from our East, this whale that I'm making so far, again, it's a free pattern. If you do exclamation pattern in the chat, then you can grab the pattern for free. Pamela says, even though we can't see you, so it's fun seeing your constructions coming together. Thank you. I promise I'll get that working for next time. I thought I had everything ready to go. When I have done two cameras in the past, I've never had a problem, but I just had an update on Zoom. So for some reason, it wasn't playing nicely. And all I wanted to do is give me feedback, and you guys would have heard it echo the entire time, and that's no fun. So I used too small of stitches. I can't get this apart. There we go. It's coming. Hi, Josie. Welcome. Great to see you. All right. Got that apart. I'm going to have to press it a little bit so I can put it together the way it's supposed to go. There we go. Pamela said, love it in the grunge fabric. Thank you. It's coming out cute. All right. Now reattach that the right way. The piece was square, so it didn't make a difference. Well, it makes a difference which side you put it on, but I couldn't tell that easily because that it was wrong. Because either way, the strip fit. Okay. Now I can give him a press and then we can add those pieces together. That makes a lot more sense because it's going to look like a tail now. All right. All right. Starting to look more like a whale. There we go. Got a tail. Yay. And let's see what is next. Oh, we get to put the head on the whale. So we're going to add these pieces together. Okay, this is cute, guys. I can't wait to show you until I got to press this and then I'm going to show you. It's adorable. Okay. Sydney said I will definitely have to buy grunge when I do this. Love the quilt blocks behind you. Oh, thank you. Those are the Underground Railroad blocks. All right, you guys, ready? You guys want to see the whale? He's so cute. There he is. So now I just have to make the spray that comes at the top because the name of this quilt block is There She Blows. So we're going to have spray at the top and then just borders around. So yay, so far so good. Sally said I emailed the pattern to myself so I won't lose it. Awesome. All right, let's get to the spray. It's so cute. Okay. So let me put these border pieces aside so I don't get them mixed up with the other pieces. Coleen said, cuteness overload. Thank you. You're welcome. Pamela said, well done. Grindle said, cute. Joanne said, love the whale. Jan said, that's amazing. Aw, thanks. Sally, that's adorable. I kind of think so, but I really love ocean animals. We have cats and we have rabbits here at my house. We like any animals, but ocean animals really speak hard to me. So I really like that. So now we have to make if you've downloaded the pattern and looked at it, the top part above the whale, which is like the spray coming out of the whale. So I'm going to grab my I think it's 5¼ inch squares. You have got one for the sprays, another color grunge, lighter blue. And I'm going to layer those together and make 8 at a time half square triangles. And the directions are all how to sew it, the 8 at a time if you haven't done that before, although I'm pretty sure most of you have, but they're in the pattern. So okay, got that sewn stitched up. Now I just got to cut them all apart. Every time I say to make the 8 at a time and you sew all those lines on it, because if you do the 8 at a time, you guys know you have to sew like 4 different lines. It feels really weird to say, now cut it all apart. I think that's why us quilters are all a little bit off. We sew together fabric just to cut it all apart again. That's all right. I still think quilters are some of the best people in the world, and I love having quilter friends. So, okay. So from that, I made 8 half square triangles. So I've got to press all of these guys. Ooh, and trim them all. Urgh. That is the worst part. I don't like the trimming. I mean, I do like it because they come out really nice, but it just takes a while. That's all. So we're going to use the magic juice on these because this will make your half square triangles come out perfect. So we're going to put some magic juice on the seams and press them. And I believe all of these pieces have to be trimmed down to 2 inches. So we're making some smaller half square triangles. Now the directions do call for the 8 at a time, 5¼ inch squares. If you want yours to be just a little bit bigger so you have more room to trim down, you could do 5½ inch. It makes it a little easier to cut too. So that's what I did. Or if, you know, you want to do it, you don't mind doing it where you have less to trim off, you can do 5¼ It just gives you a little bit more room in case, like, maybe your seam line, your sew line wasn't super straight. It gives you more room to kind of straighten things out. So I always like to do the oversides a little bit when you're doing 8 at a time, because when you're sewing that many like seam lines on one piece of fabric, it can go wonky sometimes. So if you do it a little bit bigger, you've got a little wiggle room. So just a tip there. I know it says 5¼ but if you want to do it 5½, might be a little bit easier. After I get these pressed and trimmed, then I think the rest of this block is going to go together pretty fast. Trimming for me is really slow, so I apologize for that. But I'll try to keep an eye on the chat too right now while I'm just pressing. Sylvia said, sweet. So Blessed by Jess said, hello, hello there. How are you? Joanne said, the first quilt I made, I didn't trim the blocks. It was a challenge to get it together. Oh, yeah, that would be, especially your very first one, because, well, I shouldn't speak for you guys, but for myself, well, first off, my very first quilt was just sewing strips together. This was a million thousand years ago. and the strips were very, very wonky. The whole quilt was like leaning by the end. But the first blocks that you do, I don't think anybody's first quilt is perfect. And if it is, then oh my goodness, hats off to you because that's amazing. It's so hard to, and you, but the good thing is that you learn, right? You learn from every quilt that you do what you can do better next time and improve on. A lot of people get into quilting because they want to like make a quilt for a baby or a relative or like a gift for somebody, right? And I always think like when you first get into quilting, and I always recommend this to new people, the very first project you should do is, first of all, don't do a king size quilt, which I've known some quilters to do, and they got halfway through it and they're like, oh my God, what did I do? Right? But the second thing is your first quilt you make, you should keep. And the reason I say that, and it's not because I don't think you should give quilts to people, of course I do, but you should keep it for multiple reasons. Number one, you're brand new, you just learned. And so it's probably not going to be so great. But number two, it's nice. And I say this, and I don't have my first quilt, but I wish I did. I wish I had my first quilt. But you should keep it so you can look back. No matter how long your journey is, if you decide to quilt for 2 years or 5 years or 20 years or 40 years, it's kind of a cool thing to be able to look back and go, wow, that was my first quilt. Look what I can do now. So it's an interesting thing. So I always think that I always tell people, new people, that they've got this, like I've had people say, oh, I want to make a quilt. Well, what do you want to make it for? Oh, there's a baby or this or that. Well, why don't you start with a small project first and keep it for yourself, then make that one. Because you never know. If you get bit hard by the bug, like most of us do, you might want to look back 20 years from now and go, wow, I've come a long way. So Joanne said the first quilt I made, oh, I already read that one. Karen said, I wish that I could see what you're doing. I know, sorry. I wish I could show you. I already talked about that, Karen, earlier. I'm going to work on that for next week. I had my camera all set up and it didn't want to work, so I apologize. Right now, I'm just trimming half square triangles. It's not super exciting. Let's see. Charlotte said, I'm pretty tired from sewing all day. I think that I will watch the rest of this and continue sewing the whale tomorrow. Awesome. Charlotte, I can't wait to see your whale. I know you're going to have it done tomorrow. Yay. So post a picture in the group. You showed your fabrics in the group and I was so excited to see them. They're so pretty. Sylvia said, I'm starting dinner prep as well as doing final quilting on a quilt. Awesome. You are keeping busy, girl. Rose said, I still have my first quilt. That's awesome. Cindy said, it's been so long ago, I don't remember my first quilt. Yeah, I could see that too. My first one was exactly what I told you guys. I want to make a baby quilt. I had a niece born or going to be born, and I wanted to make her a quilt. So I had been sewing. I've been sewing since I was 6. My grandmother taught me how to sew. She was not a quilter though. She was a garment sewer. And I didn't like garment sewing at all. But I did sew. She taught me how to sew some other things like pillows and things like that. So that kind of kept me sewing, but I would have quit sewing, to be honest with you guys, if all there was garment sewing, because I don't enjoy that at all. I think it's awesome for the people who do enjoy that. Like Steven's husband, Walter, he does shirts all the time. Oh my goodness. So incredible. I hate garment sewing for myself. I think the people who do it are amazingly talented. So, but my aunt started sewing when I was in my teens probably. And yeah, my late teens. And I sort of got interested in it just from looking at her quilts. But what teenager quilts, right? I mean, there are now. I think that all the online stuff, which didn't exist when I was a teenager, like YouTube and stuff, has made it kind of like cool to quilt. Back then, a teenager didn't quilt. So, but my first niece was born when I was, boy, this is gonna date me, and I almost hate to say it, but I think I was 20, 21 when my first niece was born. And and so I wanted to make her a quilt. I decided I wanted to make her a quilt. So that was my first quilt. So I am quite sure that quilt is long gone because she is 20, oh, 27-ish. I'll have to go and think about her birth date a little bit more, but I think she's about 20, 26, 27-ish. So been a long time. Charlotte said, I will sure post a picture. Awesome. I can't wait to see it. I know it's going to be great. Everything you do, Charlotte, is beautiful. Cindy said, the first thing I quilted was the turtle shell on my son's Ninja Turtle costume. Aw, that's adorable. I think he was 12 and he's going to be 55. Oh, that is so sweet. Ninja Turtles are coming back, by the way. Now that if that doesn't make you feel old, because it made me feel old because my youngest son all of a sudden loves Ninja Turtles. And I said, I thought they were gone. Well, apparently they're bringing back all the cartoons again and the characters, like all the toys. And I was like, okay. So, because I remember when they originally came out. So, all right. I've got all those half square triangles trimmed. So now I'm just going to sew. We're sewing, if you look at the pattern, we're sewing for the spray coming out of the whale. We're pretty much sewing them into rows, and a few of the rows are getting some background attached to them. They kind of, what's the word? Go down, like the top row is has the most half square triangles, then there's less and less as you go down. They're tiered. So the spray will kind of go up like this. So that's what I'm working on now. And when I get these done, I'll show you guys. Kind of hard to pick up all these little 2-inch squares and show you. So Tamla said, my first quilt was an Eleanor Burns pattern, the Lover's Knot, and I still have it. That was 40 plus years ago. Oh, that's awesome. I love that, Tamla. I love that you still have it. And that's a really pretty pattern too. I can't believe you started with that one. That's amazing. But you're super great at sewing too, so I'm not surprised that you were able to do it. Okay. I've got 2 of the rows of the spray done. So I'm going to press those and sew them together, and then I'll show those to you so you can kind of see what I'm talking about as far as the spray goes. Make sure you pay really close attention to the diagram because the half square triangles in the spray are kind of turning every which way, and it would be really, really easy to, and I thought I did. I thought I got them the wrong way. It'd be really easy to get them the wrong way really quickly. So make sure you pay close attention to that. Mm. Did I mess that up? No. Okay. I thought I already did it the wrong way. Nope. Hi, Landa. Good to see you. Great to have you here. Okay. Get this one pressed, and then I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. All right. So here's two of the rows. So this bottom part starts with one, and then there's three pieces of spray, and then the next one will have five, and then the one on top will have seven. So I hope that makes more sense now. I'm gonna go ahead and sew the next row together. Getting there. This project is going to be done very soon. Try not to screw up the way the square triangles go because they're all different. First sewing was dreaded home ec in high school class. I don't know about you guys, but I thought, well, we had home ec, and I don't think they teach it much anymore, although I've heard some schools are bringing it back. Um, but my home ec teacher was not a very nice lady, so we didn't learn a whole lot from her. And when you were trying to really learn, she was very critical. So I didn't really learn anything from her. I'd already known how to sew, and I learned pretty much everything from my grandmother, but she didn't like that I already knew how to sew. It was really an odd thing. So I didn't find my home ec teacher to be very encouraging. Now, that being said, I've heard a lot of people say, you know, my mother never sewed or my grandmother never sewed, and I learned how to sew in home ec, and they had a great experience. So that's awesome if you did. I did not. All right, so here's the next row. So I got to press this guy. You had a good teacher? That's awesome, Joanne. I'm so happy to hear that because I did not have a good teacher. And it wasn't because like I was bad or anything. I wasn't a bad kid. I, was quiet, did my work. So at least on the sewing part. I didn't do so well in the cooking part. I'm still not a very good cook, but I cook enough to feed my family, but Taylor said, how about for each projects the girls had to do skirts? I'm not a garment sewer. Oh, yep. Uh, Sally said the actual first quilt was from a class. It has gotten lost in moves. The second was for my parents. I have it somewhere. I was also a garment sewer, so the 1/4 inch seams. Oh, yeah, yeah. Doing that transition from garments to the 1/4 inch seams. I've heard that from a lot of people who started off as garment sewers. Um, my grandma made a living sewing. She was fantastic, said Pamela. That's awesome. Karen said we did hand sewing in home ec. I think that's why I don't prefer hand stitching now. Wow, we didn't do hand sewing. We just, I mean, they told her, she taught us how to like whip stitch something closed because I think we made like a stuffed animal or something and had to stitch it closed. But other than that, we use sewing machines. So Joanne said, what was interesting is many years later, I took a sewing totes class at the local high school, and my high school teacher was the teacher. It was really nice to see her. Oh, wow. It's funny when they're like really not your teacher anymore, how different that relationship is. Hmm. Okay. Just making sure I sewed this the right way before I put the row together. Let's see. Jan said, somehow I managed to bypass the cooking part. Oh, that would have been nice for me, Jan. Joanna said I made a jumper in home ec. I didn't like that she made us wear a garment to school to get a grade. Oh no. She said I bought the cheapest fabric because I didn't think it would be good. Imagine a teenager having to wear that garment to school. No. I made myself a couple dresses when I was like in my early 20s and they were horrible. I am not a garment sewer. They were horrible. And thinking back, I can't believe that I even stepped out of the house in them, to be honest with you guys. Like, I'm just thinking about what those dresses look like. They were so, so, so bad. I'm glad I don't have pictures because that would be some good blackmail pictures for somebody. They were bad, really bad. But I thought, I can sew. I got this. I can make a dress. The dress, it was just like a sundress. I thought this is easy. I went out of the house thinking I was so cute, and I'm sure I looked like a clown. So, okay, so here is my next row, and I just have to join them together now to make the spray, and I'll show you guys after I get that together. You had to make a wool tailored suit? Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm glad I didn't have to make that. I wouldn't have passed. We made really simple things, like we made a stuffed animal, we made um a couple of throw pillows. Um, we had to make either had to make like a Barbie doll dress or like some kind of other, I don't remember what the other doll was. You had the choice between Barbie doll and something else, some other doll's dress. Um, and I made the Barbie. And then goodness, I can't think of the other things that we made. We made a couple other things, not too many, but I'm so glad I didn't have to make clothing and pass the class and wear it to school. So I embarrassed myself enough when I tried to make a dress and wear it. So let's see. Charlotte said I did a lot of garment sewing years ago. Elizabeth said, hi, Elizabeth said I sewed. I feel like that. It's hard to see yourself, but little kids, it is fun. Yeah. Okay, so here is the spray that's going to go on top of the whale. All done. Now let me see. Yep, it looks like we add some side bits to this first. So some background pieces before we add it to the whale. Oh my gosh, you guys, we're almost there. So excited. So add these side pieces and then we could put this on top of the whale. And then it just needs some borders and this block will be done. Joanna said she hand sewed a lot of Barbie clothes. Wow, that's awesome. Those little, I remember putting the little like lace around the collar and the sleeves and the elastic in like the little Barbie dresses in by hand. My grandmother made me do it. She wanted me to learn to sew by hand. So I think that's maybe why I hate hand sewing so much because I hated doing those. Pamela said our school project was an A-line skirt. That ages a person. Oh, wow. That's a little easier than a wool tailored suit, though. I would take an A-line skirt. That's pretty simple. I could do that. Won't look good, but I could do it. I've made those before. I made my daughter when she was little. I used to make her little sundresses. Um, and I thought at the time they looked cute on her, and they probably did because I made them. I thought they were cute, but they probably weren't very cute. But it was fun. Sue said I only had home ec in 8th grade, sewing one semester and cooking second semester. Made a cobbler's apron and a skirt and blouse. Ooh, a cobbler's apron, that's fun. Sewing class was great. Cooking, not so much. Same, girl. You're speaking my language. Yeah, I didn't do so good in the cooking. Okay. Oh my gosh, we are almost there. So now I just have to add the spray to the top of the wheel. So let's get that done. Let's see. Joanna said I did a lot of garments over the years. I also did home deck. I'm not sure, but I think my first quilt was a double wedding ring. Wow. If it wasn't my first, it was close to the first. Girl, she said I still have that quilt because I didn't finish it. You and those double wedding rings, Joanna. They're so pretty though. The one you were working on is so gorgeous. I knit Barbie tube dresses. And Sally says, taught myself to sew at age 10. Home ec in junior high, made the most of my clothes after college, including suits, prom, and bridesmaids dresses. Wow. Good for you. That's amazing. You guys are so talented. Let's see. Joanne said my very first sewing project was a 8th grade sewing. We made peasant blouses. Oh, wow. That's cool. Hi, Christine. Good to see you. You are from Australia. Welcome. Great to have you. It is the next day for you already, so I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Yours is more over than ours, but all right, guys, nearly there. So we just need our sides and our top. And there he is. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to add those pieces now, and then we're going to be done. Done, done, done. Christine said, I have been sewing since I was 10 and made my own clothes, but now I prefer to quilt and cross stitch. Awesome. That's what I like to do too. I like to quilt and cross stitch. Although I don't cross stitch as much as I would like to, but it's just because I don't have time to sit still long enough. I think when my kids get older, I'll have more time for that. Okay. Thanks, Joanna. Or Joanne. Brindle said, I love the spout. Your wheel's so cute. Thank you, Marie. I am really loving this guy. He's adorable. Just getting my last outer edge pieces on, or border pieces, if you want to call them that. This really came together really nicely. I'm really happy with this. Our ease patterns scare people. They're not hard. They just take time because there's lots of steps, but they're not hard, I promise. Rindle says, has anyone used a quilt for a beach blanket? I've been wanting to make one, but I'm afraid it will gather sand in the seams. I have never had that problem, but I also sew with a little bit of a smaller seam allowance, I think, than most people. I do that for multiple reasons, mainly because throughout the years as a long arm quilter, when I've quilted quilts for other people, the main issues that I've had with people's quilt, or where I've seen problems, is their seams coming apart because their stitch length was too long. And those folks have taught me to make my stitch length smaller so my quilt blocks won't pop apart. So because I make a smaller stitch length, I've never had that problem. Now I can't guarantee that with wet sand. I'm talking about dry sand. So like we'll take a picnic quilt and put it on the sand here at our beach. And it shakes off, but I don't know about wet sand. It might be a little harder, but I imagine probably you just have to let the sand dry or the quilt dry a bit and then it might just come off. So because I know you don't want to put a bunch of sand in your washing machine, but if you can get most of it off and then wash your quilt, it should be okay. If you have an outside spigot and your quilt is really bad, you could rinse it off with your outside spigot and then bring it in and wash it in your washing machine. Okay. Josie said, I have a new nephew on the way in October. This whale would be cute in a baby's room. It absolutely would. I could see making a quilt with this, or, even just a pillow to like sit on a chair in the room for decoration. But yeah, definitely like a little quilt. That'd be adorable. Of course, I live by Lake Erie and I've grown up on the water. I love anything ocean, beach related. So I think this would be super sweet for a little boy, but I think my view is a little skewed because I like anything nautical. So, all right. Christine said, I have more time to quilt. And so since I'm retired, I'm 68, a grandmother of 15 and a great grandmother of 2. Oh my goodness, bless your heart. That's amazing. Wow. Um, Valerie said, I have 2 pairs of 14-year-old organic cotton lounge pants. They are faded glory, superbly made. They were $4. So I'm making my own. I have lots of cotton fabric. That's awesome. What stitch length do I sew? So I sew anywhere, depending on what I'm doing, from a 1.5 to a 1.8. Smaller for FPP, a little larger for regular piecing. So what kind of batting do you suggest for the beach bum quilt? So I personally love, that's a good question, Charlotte. I personally love bamboo batting. It is super drapey, which I love. So you can like hang it over a chair and it actually like drapes over a chair. It's lightweight like cotton, but also still warm at the same time. And it's very, very durable. I use bamboo batting in all of my personal quilts. So I think that would be nice. If you want it to be a little bit more durable though, as far as like you can wash it a million times and yank it all around, you might want to do an 80-20 cotton poly blend. But it's a quilt. It's meant to be used. So yeah. But my favorite batting is bamboo batting. Well, Grindle said, thank you. This would be a great quilt for the beach. Okay. So you guys want to see the whale? He's done. All right, here he is. All done. Oh my goodness. I could see for a little baby quilt, either putting this in the center and then maybe putting some pinwheel blocks around it, or making 4 of these guys. But I'm going to turn mine into a pillow to go with my Going Coastal quilt, which is an Art East pattern. So thank you guys so much for sewing with me today. or watching me, even though I didn't have my other camera. I appreciate you hanging in there with me. I know it's hard when we don't have another camera, and I really tried. Zoom updated right before, and it did not want to play nicely. But what I am going to do is I'm going to pick a couple winners. Let me grab the patterns that I have for you guys. I've got a couple of patterns from Art East. John at Art East, when he saw me posting pictures of some of the quilts that I made, I've done their Red Panda quilt pattern. I've done their Going Coastal pattern. I'm working on their Quilting for the Birds pattern. I've done their Puff and Star pattern. And now I did their little whale. There She Blows, which is a free pattern. So he saw me posting them on social media, and he was so sweet and generous and said, "Thank you for talking about my quilts. I'm going to send you some patterns for free." So he sent me several patterns, and these two I already had, and I didn't realize I had. So, and this one, I've got other quilts by him that has these animals in it. So I am going to share these with you guys. So I'm going to pick 3 different winners. So hopefully this little winner thing is going to work. Let's see. Hopefully it will work. And the winner is for the Wonderful Wonderland pattern, Sylvia Martinez. So Sylvia, send me an email, please, and I'll get this out to you. Let me put my email in the chat. Make sure you send me your name and your full address so I can get it out to you. So you're going to get Wonderful Wonderland. Okay, and then I have 2 more, so don't run away yet, guys. Thank you all so much for the healing wishes. Karen, I see you out there. Karen Cox, I owe you an email. I will send that today after the live. I've been knocked out from drugs, happy drugs for my arm. So I did see your email. I will send you an email back, I promise. Let's see. So the next one is Trending Quilt. It's got a bunch of different animals, a sloth, an owl, a narwhal, an alpaca, a cheetah, a little bulldog. So let's see. This one is Valerie Bull. Valerie Bull, you won this guy right here. And you guys make sure you send me the name because I'm going to forget which one's which. So Sylvia, you were Wonderful Woodland. Valerie, you're this guy here, Trending Quilt, it's called. And I have one more, so hang on just a second. I wanted to share these with you guys because I already have all these patterns. So it was very generous of John to send them to me, but I don't need 2. So let me pick one more winner. Sloth, yes, sloth. So for the deep dive pattern, which is my last one to give to you guys, that is going to be, oh, they picked Valerie again. Okay, I gotta pick another one. Sorry, Valerie, you can't win twice. I don't know why it did that. It picked the same one again. It's random from Nightbot, so not sure what Nightbot was doing. All right, let's see if it'll give me another person this time. Okay, Nightbot is screwed up. It keeps picking Valerie again. So what I'm going to do is, let's see. I am going to pick a number in my head. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is. If you would like to have deep dive, put a number in the chat right now from 1 to 20. Go. Because Nightbot is not working. So Valerie, you still won this one. Sylvia, you won the Wonderland one. And if anyone wants the deep dive, put a number from 1 to 20. And the first person who gets the number that's in my head, you'll win. Not yet, not yet. No winner yet. Keep picking numbers. Keep picking numbers. No winner yet. Keep picking numbers. Joanne, 7, number 7. Joanne, you win. Okay. So Joanne G, you win deep dive. So all of you who got a pattern, make sure you email me with your name, remind me which pattern you got, and your full address, and I will send these out to you. And that's all, folks. Thank you guys so much for being here today. It was so good to see all of you. Thank you for sticking with me and hanging in there while I'm recovering from my arm injury. It is getting better. It is taking time, longer than I wanted it to. Part of it is because I am not doing all the things I should be doing because I'm impatient and I don't want to sit with my arm in a sling for a week because I'm a mom and I have a business and I have things to do. And so I keep irritating it and I need to stop it, but I can't just sit around and do nothing. Y'all know that. And I'm sure most of you are like that as well. So anyway, here's the whale again. It was nice spending time with all of you. It was nice seeing you. Thank you for taking time to be here. And like I said, thank you for working with me without having the extra camera. I wish I could have put it down so you guys could see me sewing. But next time I will get the Zoom thing figured out again and we'll have that working. And then hopefully my arm will be better because I've got some fun things coming up for you guys. I'm going to be working with a world-renowned pattern designer. So that's the little sneak peek coming up soon. And she's going to offer you guys a discount on a pattern. And then we're going to do a sew along. So I'm really excited about that. She reached out to me. So stay tuned and lots of fun things coming. Bye, guys. Have a great night.